Hey everybody, it's Maria, and today I'm going to talk to you about what I read the last half of March. Most of these are middle grade March books. I didn't get as much reading as I wanted to done, but in the second half of March, I read two of the books that I had been most anticipating reading this year. So that was pretty awesome. All right, I will go ahead and jump right in. The first one is American Born Chinese. This is by Jean Lun Yang, and it's a graphic novel. I didn't actually realize that when I picked it up. It has every other chapter there is a monkey character, and I couldn't really figure out why what his point was until the very end of the book. It is an award, an award winner from the American Library Association, the Prince Award. There's diverse characters in this. It is about a kid who is born in the States, but his parents are from China. So when he moves to a different school, everybody assumes he's moving from China. So he's kind of got that two different cultures he's stuck in the middle of. I thought it was really good for the age level that it was written for. And if you like quirky graphic novels, it'd probably be a good one. I don't know. It was the monkey, I think, that killed it for me. I just didn't really care about the monkey until the end, and then I had to go back through and see why he was in there more than, I don't know. So, a little bit of a disappointment, but I understand why it's a good book. Next up is one I read aloud. It's Napoleon, A Wicked History, Emperor and Conqueror, Egotist by Kimberly Houston. This is the second one of the Wicked History series that I've read to my kids. The first one we read was Catherine the Great. These are really, really good books, very approachable if you have a kid who likes history or a kid who doesn't like history especially. They do have some pictures in here. The text is not too intimidating. I really like how they laid out why people became the way they did, what motivated them. I think they did a great job with that. We learned a lot, and yeah, my kids really enjoyed it. So, good one for this. Next up is Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. This is a second time through for me. I actually have her other book, The Sun and Her Flowers, out on loan right now, and I needed to have more of her poetry, so I picked this one up for the library because I missed her, and I love her poetry. Next is Deep Work, Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World by Cal Newport. This was a decent read for me. I appreciated what they said about not getting online first thing in the morning, trying to cut back on your social media, focusing on one thing at a time, not multitasking. This would have been a lot more of a pop for me if I had not read Tim Ferriss's Tools for Titans first, because I feel like he was so expansive and so thorough in all the hacks from all of the research on what to do and why to do it, that this just didn't pack as big of a punch as I thought it would. So it was good. If you've not read Tim Ferriss or listened to his podcast, you might pick this up, but I don't know. I need to do better about not multitasking. So I don't know how much it did as far as changing my life, because I'm still kind of doing a little bit of that. This next one was definitely a great read. This is Dear Fahrenheit 451. I know it's been getting a lot of buzz. It's Love and Heartbreak in the Stacks, A Librarian's Love Letters and a Break of Notes to the Books in Her Life by Annie Spence. I heard about this on the What Should I Read Next podcast. I've seen it a few other places. I started listening to it on audio, actually, and then I had to get a hardcover copy from the library so I could actually really make sure I was getting all of the books in it that I wanted to get in. So several of the books she mentioned definitely got moved up my list, and some of them actually knocked books off my list, which was very helpful. I think I share a lot of her opinions. I could have written some of these letters, especially the one about Gregory Maguire's Wicked. And I really wanted to love the book. She felt the same way. She thought it would be the perfect fit. And it just was, I tried 3 or 4 times and I just didn't care. Also, I think she talks about Leo Tolstoy in here. She talks about, she had a couple snarky ones there was one about, I'm trying to remember. There's some the Harlequin romance ones, how they're not even that good. They're not even that schmutty. Celebrity autobiographies. then she has a really good one. It's like a tribute To Kill a Mockingbird in here. There were several ones in here that I just fell in love with, but the one that she made me run to the library and pick up was the Time Traveler's Wife, which I've never read because it got too much hype at the time. But the way she talked about how it was one of those books that you get different things out of it at different times in your life. When she read it a long time ago, she just kind of thought about the romance part of it. And then as she read it as a wife and mom, she thought about just how much of the day-to-day mundane things really make up our lives, and how she expects that if she picks it up again in 10 years, 15 years, it'll be a completely different reading experience. So that sold me on it. Highly recommend this book. It'll probably add at least 1 to 2 books to your list, if not more. So, and it'll make you laugh. There are a few curse words in here, I think, but her letter to Stephen King's Misery was phenomenal. That was the only one that I felt had. There were maybe 1 or 2 that had slight spoilers, not like over the top spoilers. But the one that she wrote about Misery, there were certain things in there that I've not read any Stephen King yet. Still, yes, I know I need to, but it was one of those that made me feel like, I really want to read Misery to find out what she was talking about, but at the same time, scared out of my mind to read Misery. So she did a great job. All right, next up was one of the most anticipated ones. This is Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. It is the follow-up to Scythe. Phenomenal duo. I really loved living in this universe. I think that this universe is now over. The end, I guess, gave a little bit of room for maybe something in the future, but I doubt it. I think it's complete now. Shusterman has some very interesting ideas and premises when he writes books. The Scythe and Thunderhead series is set in a time in the future where people have conquered death, and so in order to curb the population growth, they have the Scythedom that goes around and gleans people. And so sometimes they follow rules, sometimes they don't. The first one kind of sets up the universe in a very well done way. It makes you kind of start caring about the main characters who are apprenticing to be scythes, and what the old order versus the new order looks like. This one kind of examines some of the problems that are caused because of it. Thunderhead refers to the global computer that kind of runs the universe. But there are certain rules that the Thunderhead cannot put itself in, including Scythedom and gleaning people. So I really enjoyed this book so much. And the first one, I need to pick up more Neil Shusterman. I was not disappointed at all. It had me gasping several times, which I always love when I do that in books. But yes, highly recommend. This next one was my other most anticipated book, Girls Burn Brighter by Shobha Rao. She's an Indian writer who lives in the States now. This book, I don't want to give any spoilers for things. This book is, I think, one of the only books that has made me want to be physically ill because of a personal connection. This book deals with 2 women who live in India. Neither of them have very much money, and they're trying to kind of make their way in the world. But really, when it comes down to it, they want to be together. I don't really even think in a romantic way. Maybe romantic, they never really specify that. But really, when it comes down to it, they are sister friends who have found one another, and they are the only other person in the world that they trust, that they feel they can be themselves with. And because of their station in life, they are not able to have some of that freedom. A lot of things happen to both of them that will make you uncomfortable. There are definitely some rape triggers in here. It covers a lot about people who eventually they do come to the States, and so you'll kind of get a glimpse into what that life looks like for some people. For me, my sister is a double amputee on both arms. I don't want to go into her story because it's her story. But there are certain things in this story that happened to my sister, or something similar happened to my sister. And so reading through this and the way it is written really makes you get into their brains. It goes back and forth between the perspectives of the two girls as they're trying to, they get separated and they have to find each other again. But one of them in particular, reading through it just made me picture my sister as a younger person dealing with some of this. And it just like makes me want to like gag right now thinking about it. So I highly recommend this book. If you can get through books that have hard things in it, like I really recommend. It's not even that long, but I had to stop several times because I was just emotionally sick over it. But it was beautifully done. It does not have as much closure at the end as maybe one would like. However, it makes you, as the reader, choose between optimism and pessimism. So I picked optimism because I needed to. But I really recommend this book if you can get your hands on it. So, and the cover is beautiful. I don't think I can read it again. So I don't know if I will purchase it because I don't think I can read it again. But I really am so glad that I picked this up. And now for something completely different. Just the Essentials, How Essential Oils Can Heal Your Skin, Improve Your Health, and Detox Your Life by Adina Grigore. This is just kind of a simple primer. I've been getting more into essential oils. She talks about some blends. She talks about kind of how a lot of the essential oils are not regulated and how different companies kind of capitalize on the lack of information. It was a nice book. I think if you've already read online a lot of things, you probably won't have your life changed, but it was all right. So that is what I read for the last half of March. What did you really enjoy? Did you do middle grade March? Did you decide to do something completely different? It was really tempting to do some women's history stuff too, and I just didn't get to it because we've been in the throes of living life. So I will talk to you all later. Have a great day. Bye.